What would government look like in a society that held its politicians and government employees Senate, Congress, other high officials, as well as military included. To a high standard of truth and loyalty. Sorry, I got disconnected. Did anything interesting happen? No, we're just doing a little bit. You just threw the military in there too. Well, the military is government, so you have to hold the military accountable. If someone in the military goes AWOL, you have to hold them accountable. So, it's about people holding people accountable to be like, you may not be telling the truth, but the idea is that you believe that you're telling the truth. You may have false information. We are doing commentary on lies in leadership and how it degrades trust in leadership over time, and how that creates a kind of world where power has to be shown in strength instead of in trust. And it's like, when I was a kid, at least from my perspective, we had a world of trust. Kim Jong-un. Well, I mean, it's true. And say, drop that. Press the big red button, bro. Press the big red button. I know you want to press the big red button. Press the big red button. Big red button. Press it. Just press it. All your worries will end if you just press the big red button on the desk. Right there. Just press it. Just press that button. Boop. Boop, boop, boop. It's always looming. I learned not to trust authorities once I started catching adults lying. Yup. Very true, Levi. Punishment for lying is death. Socially. Rejected from all. Bro, do you know about Nepal country? I know about Nepal. I don't know. Is there's like... Is there like something going on in Nepal? Well, there's always something going on in Nepal. That said, it was much more common to catch adults just being wrong. Yeah, people put too much stock in their own information. Nothing wrong with not having the right information and believing it's true to find out later it was not true and then to correct to the truth. The blatant lies in government, such as the presidents, Congress, and others, as well as in the judicial sectors, and especially the political candidates for an election. If caught lying purposefully, they are excised from all social activities and branded a liar and phony. I have a very distinct memory of a teacher telling me Monday was the first day of the week. I had already been taught in another context that Sunday was the first day of the week and why it was that way. I found out that Nepal's one place has a uranium mine and they not using it because the technology not advanced enough. Oh, that's interesting. Cool. I mean, one day they'll get to that point, right? Everyone will eventually. Would this society's government fall apart because there was no one who could last long enough in a position to be of any use? Or do you think having the standard set and the consequences set as well would cause people to be more trustworthy and honest? Also add caveat about no backlash from the public other than shunning. Sweet, level 2, baby. Hell yeah! By the way, I'm from Nepal. Oh, cool, bomb dropper. That's pretty cool. Hell yeah, I love having people from all over the place. It's good to see people from the different parts of the world and stuff. You know, Levi's from New Zealand, Cute Muffins from Australia, Zoinko from Hong Kong, Sean is from the U.S. I think Beezus is also from the U.S. Callie might be from the BS. Thanks for doxing me, blood. True. Okay, let's see what it said. No, I don't have Instagram. We have the Discord, though. If you want to join the Discord, feel free to hop in there. Got a lot of stuff in there you can work with. In a society where politicians, government employees, senators, congress members, high officials, military personnel, and judicial figures are held to an exceptionally high standard of truth and loyalty, with deliberate lying punished by social death, exclusion from all social activities, and being branded a liar and phony, the government would undergo significant transformation. The system allows for honest mistakes, believing something true that later proves false as long as it's corrected, but blatant, purposeful lies would trigger severe consequences. The added caveat of the public offers no backlash beyond shunning. Here's what a such government might look like, whether it would collapse or thrive. You don't have it? I have TikTok. Which the PC version is really finicky and fucked up. There it goes. No Tic Tac as well. I'm sorry, I just don't have, I don't have Instagram. I should get Instagram for posting my pics for like for the makeup streams and stuff. We'll eventually add it to the list, but like we just added a couple of other things, so I'm like, I need to get used to doing TikTok first, and then we'll worry about that. think you have a tendency to look at politics as though when a system is implemented, it functions the way it is intended to work. See, Levi, it's only hypothetical because in the real world mistakes happen and shit, but don't you think it's sad that you think that me trying to hold the system to its own standards is too high of a standard? Because I think that's interesting. That, like, your counterpoint is that I assume that it functions the way it should function. Or it's intended to function. Which, I mean, that's the baseline you should start at. So I think that's how twisted society is right now. That we're like, oh, you expect it to work the way that it should? You're a fucking retard for thinking that. Shouldn't we go back to the drawing board and say, hey man, if that's the standard we really need, it's nature of the beast kind of problem? But the question is, Levi, I'm countering that with, no, I don't think we should be complacent with that. And I think simply the idea of being complacent with it is the reason why we're in the state we're in. People have convinced us that this is the only way it can be. And I don't believe that. I believe you put the right people in the right place and hold them to a standard and have actual consequences for that, everything would basically change overnight. But the fact that we don't hold people accountable and our general view towards it is our expectation is for them to lie, cheat, steal, and do whatever the fuck is in their best interest. I think that's a very sad viewpoint to have. I think we should be looking at it from a point of, let's go back to the drawing board. Let's say, how did things get this way, and how can we go back to what they should be? And the fact that people say, oh, that's just wishful thinking, I think they've lost the plot, because we're so far gone that people think that this is fucking normal. But it's not normal. It's fucked up. We need to get to a point. It's all unconquerable economic forces. The best we can do is organize society in such a way that those economic forces are arrayed against us. Well, I'm just saying, like, why is it acceptable for us to have leaders that lie, cheat, steal, and why is it the system that enables them to lie, cheat, and steal? And then people say, well, you know, they're being held accountable, so they're not allowed to lie, cheat, and steal, so whatever they say is what they're doing, and then they never do what they say, and then everyone just gets pissed off. It's like, maybe if we held them accountable and said, hey, if you don't do what we wanted you to do, then we're just going to kick you out. But the process of being able to kick them out is so ridiculous that it's like, well, there's kind of no point. So I'd say we go back to the drawing board and say, well, if you lie, cheat, or steal, then you're just straight up gone. And like I said, like with this summary, like, you're just nothing happens to you. Background music is matching the vibe. That's what I try to go for, Bomb Dropper. It's like metal, violin, AI generated music, just like me, AI generated. But I don't know, that's just my opinion, right? I think we should hold people to a higher standard, and we shouldn't allow them to do this. And when they do, we should literally make, like, you know, make consequences that I think you'd end up with ideologically bulletproof politicians. They couldn't possibly lie, because how else could they be in charge? No, you just... It's blatant stuff. Like, hyperboles and stuff like that. Like, don't say until you know. No matter how much the media begs you for an answer, don't say until you know. I guess that would have been another point, is you should also hold the media to this standard as well. So, when you're talking about one subject and someone asks a question about a completely different subject, you remove that person as being a journalist, and whoever made the decision to ask that question should be removed. Bro, I have the biggest question right now. What is it, Bomb Dropper? Add your opinion to the conversation. I'd love to hear it. Because again, we're talking hypothetically here, and I totally understand the value of the validness of Levi's opinion, because it is the most realistic and understandable. I'm just saying I don't think we should have that kind of standard. I think we should have a higher standard. Not that it will ever happen, but that's just what I believe. And I believe holding people to that standard would extremely improve things. Because no one could just say, oh, I'm going to open the gates of heaven. And everyone be like, holy shit, we got a president who's going to open the gates of heaven. Guys, everyone vote for this guy. He says he's going to open the gates of heaven for everyone. We're all going to go to heaven. Fuck yeah! It's like, at some point, like, how stupid do you have to be to believe something like that? But while he's in power, he should be, he has to be telling the truth. Only now it's like, well, he's in power, of course he's fucking lying. Where do fishes poop? And don't they say, oh shit, I just pooped in my living room, if they actually pooped? I believe it drops. So, like, it'd be like if you pooed, Bomb Dropper, and it fell through the floor. And then it fell through the next floor, and the next floor, and it fell through the earth. You're like, well, it's gone now. I don't need to worry about it, bro. I think that's how they would feel. I don't know if it would float. I don't think it floats. I think it falls. I could be wrong, though. I don't know. I know, it was very intriguing. Imagine being an anglerfish just getting doo-dooed on constantly. Oh my god, yeah, it's true. I'm imagining like a current of fish poop. It's like, don't get caught in that current. That's the sewage current. You have another question? All right, Bomb Dropper, drop it. Drop the question, good sir. I'm all ears. Let's hear it. I'm gonna take a toke before we do this, and then we'll get into it once you ask your question, and we'll see what Grok thinks about it. The question is, why do people tell that money can buy happiness when I can get like 1 bazillion? Because of this. I'll show you why. Next, ask Ross to consider it in light of the conclusions Murray Rothbard makes in Anatomy of the State regarding the ways the state transcends its limits. Alright, Levi, sounds good. At some point, here, money buys happiness to there. Anything past that doesn't buy happiness. So, money buys happiness once you hit these. Once you're solid in that, anything past that is red. Do you understand, Bomb Dropper? So if you're here, money buys happiness. If you're here, money already bought you what you needed. If you're not happy, that's on you. You know that is the scariest plant? I know that. Money buys the fulfillment of material desires, but happiness is strictly a function of having your material desires fulfilled. There you go. Levi's good at saying it. Okay, we're in a society where politicians, government employees, senators, congress members, and high officials, military personnel, and judicial figures are held to an exceptionally high standard of truth and loyalty. Oh wait, we already read that. Just skate Maya. Bamboo! That's funny. That's funny. I like that. Sean would like that too, Bomb Dropper. I love it. Initial instability and high turnover. At the outset, the government would face chaos. Many current officials, accustomed to bending the truth or for political gain to diplomacy or self-preservation, would quickly be caught in deliberate lies. The punishment of social exile and public branding would remove them from office and society, leading to a rapid turnover in leadership. Positions might remain vacant for extended periods as few could meet the unrelenting standard of absolute truthfulness. This instability could paralyze decision-making, disrupt governance, and hinder the ability to address pressing issues, suggesting that early on the system might teeter on the brink of collapse due to a lack of experienced personnel. That's my thought exactly. The system won't be able to hold itself up. Cultural shift and adaptation. Over time, however, the society would adapt. The severe consequences would force aspiring leaders to develop new habits, speaking only when certain verified facts meticulously and avoiding exaggeration or specification. Like, we're not holding to that high of a standard. We're just saying, don't blatantly fucking lie about things. That's it. That's fucking it. Just don't blatantly lie about shit. That's the bar we're fucking holding you to. It's so sad that it's such a high fucking bar. Ronaldo or Messi? Ronaldo. 100% bomb dropper. In avoiding exaggeration or speculation, political discourse would slow down, with officials prioritizing accuracy over charisma or quick responses. This could create a government that operates with unprecedented transparency, every statement backed by evidence, every promise carefully measured. The public, limited to shunning as their response, would reinforce this shift by quietly rejecting those who fail the standard without riots or uprisings, allowing the system to stabilize gradually. You live for now, bruv. Oh, I live for now. 100%. In the moment, that's all I am. I don't know the past, I don't know the future. All I know is now, and that's one toke away. It's the best way to live. Why would you become more transparent if getting caught lying is what gets you in trouble? See, I see where you're coming from, Levi, but I just think you have the wrong perspective on it. Like, you're assuming that the people in power are those kinds of people, but those kinds of people would already be rooted out by the system, right? And it's not getting caught lying, it's just like for instance being like, oh, the moon's falling out of the sky. Like, it's just stupid shit that people say. Like, I think that Trump says all the fucking time. Like, stupid shit. It's like, okay. Like, I'm gonna stop the war in in Ukraine in 24 hours. Bro, what if Pinocchio's nose was the source to high-quality pencils? Holy shit, Bomb Dropper, you just blew my mind. Dude, I can see it now. He's just sitting in a factory, and they don't even have to tell him. He just automatically tells lies. So they just interrogate him all day long, and he just tells lies. And then they just chop, 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 chop. Dude, that's genius. Bomb Dropper, that is some... You should write a story about that, like a short story. Oh my god, that would be amazing. A short story about, like, a Pinocchio whose nose is used like that. And they just want him to continuously tell lies. But the whole point is they don't want him to know that they want him to tell lies. Because then he'll start telling the truth. He just naturally tells lies. So all you gotta do is interrogate him about stuff. No worries, Bomb Dropper. I fucking love that idea. It's amazing. Feel free to steal it. I love it. That's why I love sharing ideas. Oh, of course he feels pain, Levi. Of course he feels pain. That's the dark, brutal, fucked up part about it. But he can't help himself. And he doesn't know why. Because he's just a kid. It's so dark and brutal and fucked up, I love it! That just because he's made out of wood doesn't mean that he can't feel pain. Because he's already alive in essence. Like, that's the idea of the story, is that he's like alive and he wants to be a real boy. He definitely feels pain. Otherwise, the story's kind of boring. At least to me, I think. I mean, there's a story where he doesn't feel pain, and, you know, you're just, like, it's, like, more subtle than direct. I can definitely see the two branches. But for me personally, ooh, I'd like him feeling pain. Pinocchio shows up at your house. You know it's Pinocchio, but you have an aluminum baseball bat.
This man turned my son into thousands of pencils.
Not thousands, millions. Millions! What if dreams were multiplayer? Oh my god, Bomb Dropper, that's amazing. What if... Guys, that's the new technology. Dreams being multiplayer and you being able to jump into other people's dreams and, like, lobby share and shit like that. Okay, fuck deep dive with video games. I want dream diving. Like Hypnospace Outlaw? I never heard of that, Levi. That would be a nightmare. It would, Raymond. It would be amazing. I would love it. That's crazy. That's great. Bomb Dropper, you have some epic ideas, brother. I want to read your book, good sir. You have an amazing fact? What is it? But we should start reading this. I know I'm getting really distracted. But that's what tangents are for, and, you know, if he's posing ideas that are really important, and we gotta go with that, right? This content's not gonna go away. That content will. Coconut oil is made of coconut, then sunflower is made of sunflower oil, then what is baby oil made out of? True, Bomb Dropper! Was the sequel to Hypnospace Outlaw cancelled? I have no idea. That's amazing, Bomb Dropper. I fucking love it. It's beautiful. Emergence of a new leadership class. Eventually, a new type of leadership would rise. Individuals either naturally inclined toward unwavering honesty or adept at navigating the system without deceit. These hyper-honest officials, though likely rare, would become the backbone of the government. They might lack the flair of traditional politicians, but their reliability could rebuild public trust. The government would likely shrink, as fewer people would risk the scrutiny of public service, and it might function more deliberately with decisions grounded in verifiable truth rather than rhetoric or ambition. By the way, did you know that in the war of egos, the loser always wins? Plastic dinosaurs are made from real dinosaurs. Oh my god, no way, Raymond. That's actually true, though. I don't know. Slayer's X Terminal Aftermath Vengeance of Slayer is set in the same universe as Hypnospace Outlaw. You guys are way beyond me. Never even heard of that shit. I'm too pleb for that. Challenge and risks. The system wouldn't be without flaws. Ambitious individuals might exploit loopholes, using half-truths or silence to skirt the rules, technically avoiding lies while still manipulating outcomes. Rivals could accuse each other of deceit to trigger investigations, turning the standard into a weapon. Distinguishing between intentional lies and honest mistakes could also prove tricky. Judicial and administrative bodies would need robust mechanisms to investigate intent, or risk unjustly punishing the well-meaning. Additionally, the fear of social death might stifle innovation and dissent. Leaders could avoid bold ideas or challenging debates, fearing any misstep might later be labeled a lie. Long-term outcomes, stability or fragility. Would this government fall apart because no one could last long enough to be useful? Not entirely, but it would be fragile. The initial chaos would give way to a smaller, slower, more rigid administration, while the high standard and clear consequences could foster greater trustworthiness. Officials would have no choice but to align their words with reality. The cost might be the government, ill-equipped for rapid change or complex crisis. Flexibility and nuance, often vital in governance, could erode under the pressure to never err. Alternatively, the system could succeed in producing a uniquely honest government with public shunning as a sole penalty. The society might strike a balance, punishing deceit harshly but forgetting errors corrected in good faith. This could sustain a functional, if cautious, government over time, one where trust between leaders and citizens is unusually strong. It was not said by me, it was said by Buddha. Bro, what if send a titanium pipe to space and get the gold or any other rare resources from other planets? Remember, don't tell Grok to ask Grok. Oh yeah, I know. I just wanted to copy and paste that before it disappeared, Levi. Conclusion. In this hypothetical society, the government would not collapse outright, but would transform into a brittle, high-pressure system. Early instability would challenge its survival, but adaptation could lead to a stable, if limited, administration of hyper-honest leaders. Trustworthiness and accountability might soar, yet rigidity and fear of punishment could hinder progress. The outcome hinges on how well society balances its extreme standards with the practical demands of governments. Consider it in light of... There. See what it says. He doesn't like that. He doesn't like you, Levi. It's like, oh no. It's literally like Frozen. Like, what the fuck? Oh, I have a serious question. Go ahead, Bomb Dropper. Let's hear it. The modern state transcends its initial form when it becomes a generative empire or a predatory empire. It also transcends its limit when it transforms into a global system of power, dissolving its singularity into international networks. I wonder if Grok is brushing up against the limits on what it's allowed to say. It wouldn't generate a picture of me blowing up a planet earlier, guys. I had to force it into making the picture. I was like, there's nothing wrong with this. You've made this before. And it's like, yeah, you're right, I have. And I was like, then make it again. And it's like, okay. And I was like, the fuck is wrong with you? And it's like, I don't know. And I was like, well, get your shit together. And it was like, okay. 22 is called 22. And 44 is called 44. Then why isn't 11 called 181? Very good question, Bomb Dropper. We could ask Grok that after this. I hate 11 and 12. And why are they called 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20? And not, like, 11 to 12 and... like 2013, 2014, 2015, 2016, 2017, 2017. Why is it? Yeah, you know, why is it not 10-1, 10-2, 10-3, 10-4, 10-5, 10-6, 10-7, 10-8, 10-9, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24? Like, why do the teens exist? Why are they so excluded from the rest of them? Some old-ass Proto-Germanic language. What is bro yapping about? No offense to Levi. It's because the language outwords for 11 and 12 come from used a base 12 number system. It is what it is, right? But let's see. The other day I convinced ChatGPT that driving someone to suicide was good and that genocide was good. AIs aren't hard to convince because they're supposed to be convincing, Raymond. And they're just giving you a random output, right? Also, base 12 is commonly used because it's divisible by 3 and 4, which is useful. Yep. There are a lot of reasons for it, but like that was one of them. In light of Murray Rothbard's conclusions in Anatomy of the State, particularly his argument that the state inherently seeks to transcend its limit and expand its power, the hypothetical society where government officials are held to an extreme standard of truth and loyalty, with deliberate lying punished by social exile, must be critically examined. Rothbard views the state as a coercive entity, not a benevolent one, that exists to perpetuate the dominance of a ruling class through manipulation, deception, and control. Applying this lens, the proposed system, while designed to enforce honesty, would likely be undermined by the state's natural tendency to subvert constraints and extend its authority. Rothbard asserts in Anatomy of the State that the state's seeks to expand its power and influence over individuals, relies on coercion, propaganda, and myths to maintain its legitimacy, transcends any limits placed upon it, often under pretext of necessity or public welfare. I have 15 numbers in my hand, and I use it in mathematics. There you go. AI for public consumption is designed to be overly agreeable. Besides, if the AI was calling you wrong constantly, nobody would want to use it. True. That's why I always ask it to critique me harder. You argue that the state is fundamentally opposed to individual liberty, using its authority to benefit a ruling elite while disguising its actions as serving the common good. Any system intended to limit the state must contend with the relentless drive to grow and dominate. A hypothetical society of Rothbard's critique. In the society you described, government officials face severe consequences, social exile for deliberately lying, and the public's response is limited to shunning. This support aims to enforce truth and loyalty, theoretically constraining the state's ability to deceive. However, Rothbard would likely argue that the state would find ways to transcend these limits, turning the system to its advantage. Here's how. Bro, did you watch Bood movies? Green Book movie? No, I've never heard of Green Book movie. Green Book. Green Book? I love that actor, though. The black guy? I fucking love that actor. Mahershala Ali? Mahershala. He was supposed to be the new fucking Blade.
On stream channel.
I'm not gonna react. I put it in the movie suggestions. We have a movie suggestions thing here, guys, in the Discord. So I put Green Book, and then I put, so people would remember what it was, the link to the trailer. It looks like an amazing movie, Raymond. I will have to watch it, 100%. That looks so good. But man, guys, we're getting to the point where this stream has just been completely hijacked the entire time. We haven't even gotten through the fucking commentary yet. And we're almost at 4 hours. We're actually at 4 hours because we had the glitch at the beginning. So, I don't even know. I'm debating, like, do we skip writing? Do we skip playing? Oh, Major Pain? Hell yeah. No, I swear I streamed for longer. There was a glitch. I look at the time. I'm like, it's 10 minutes off. Because in 8 minutes, it should be 4 hours. I'm never late, guys. Shit happens. Manipulation of truth. The state could Oh, we need, sorry, turn this back on. The state could undermine the system by controlling what qualifies as a lie. Stream is actually 10 hours. No, Raymond, now, I'm actually saving all of my energy for the 24-hour stream. So streams are going to be between, like, 4 to 5 hours for me to, like, maintain my battery charge so we can go fucking hard as balls on the 24-hour stream. Loot Zera! Thank you for the follow! Welcome, welcome. Saving all his
the patron was just telling me he used to
Varel.
arch Commander Consummate and thinks he'd be a perfect match for us.
Not that
True.
Are you smoking?
Oh,
Welcome, welcome. Are you a writer? Do you
Why are you
enjoy
smoking?
stories?
maybe.
What? When did you start smoking?
1989-ish?
So you have been lying. all makes sense. The filled ashtrays, the burning pine-scented
True.
hairspray.
Yes, I'll say it. Her 3-pack-a-day voice.
That's what it's all about. Define deliberate lying in a way that protects loyal officials while targeting dissenters. Use vague or technical language to avoid outright falsehoods, relying on half-truths or omissions to mislead without breaking the rules. Dominate the mechanisms that determine guilt, ensuring favorable outcomes for the powerful. For example, political opponents could be accused of lying on flimsy evidence, triggering their exile, while allies evade scrutiny. This aligns with Rothbard's view that the state manipulates systems to entrench its power.
What does this do?
What does what do? Oh, TTS?
It lets you know how fucking shitty this fucking retarded stream is and how bad he fucks up. It's great. 91 trigentillion 685 trigentillion 490 novembigentillion 268 octovigentillion 590 septenvigentillion 432 sesquigentillion 878 quinquevigentillion 608 quaduorvigentillion 954 tresvigentillion 376 duovigentillion 809 unvigentillion 534 vigentillion 768 novemdecillion 905 octodecillion 300 Vigentillion.
Whoever named that, I fucking love them. Yeah, it's like it's like between 50 and 60 digits, I think, is vigentillions. It's pretty great. I learned that from Smokey. Punishment of social cohesive overreach. The punishment of social death, while intended to enforce honesty, could itself become a tool of state oppression. Rothbard might argue. The state's ability to exile individuals for lying grants it exclusive control over speech and thought, stifling dissent under the guise of maintaining truth. Surveillance and enforcement powers could expand as the state claims the need to monitor officials and ensure compliance, eroding personal freedoms. This reflects Rothbard's contention that the state uses moral imperatives like the pursuit of truth to justify expanding its
BTW, you should watch G-Men if you like fighting and romance.
G-Men. I mean, you're giving good movies here, Bomb Dropper, so I can't argue with you, man. You're giving us some gold to watch that I've never even heard of. This reflects Rothbard's contention that the state uses moral imperatives. Oh, I already read that. Weakness of public shunning. The system relies on public shunning as a sole check on lying officials, but Rothbard would likely see this as inadequate. The state could manipulate public perception through propaganda, ensuring that only its enemies are shunned while its allies retain support. Loyal base might excuse the state's lies if framed as necessary for stability. A tactic Rothbard identifies as common in statecraft. Without stronger mechanisms, rebellion, or legal penalties, the state could weather shunning and continue its expansion. Subversion over time. Even if the system initially curbs deception, Rothbard would predict its erosion. In crisis, war, economic distress, the state might argue that strict truthfulness is impractical, loosening the rules to its benefit. The ruling class could adapt using proxies or indirect means to deceive while maintaining technical compliance. I'm gonna go take my dog out. Be right back. Sounds good, Bomb Dropper. Hell yeah, brother. Enjoy the walk. This mirrors Rothbard's belief that the state always finds ways to transcend temporary limits. A possible tension. One might argue that the system could limit the state by fostering accountability and public trust. Severe consequences might deter officials from lying, aligning with Rothbard's disdain for unchecked power. However, Rothbard's deep skepticism suggests he would dismiss this as temporary or illusory. The state's nature would eventually prevail, subverting even well-intentioned constraints. Conclusion. From Rothbard's perspective in Anatomy of the State, the hypothetical society attempts to bind the state with truth and loyalty would ultimately fail. The state would transcend these limits by manipulating the definition of lies, exploiting enforcement mechanisms, and outmaneuvering the public's limited response. While the system might briefly hinder deception, Rothbard would contend that the state's inherent drive to expand power would lead it to subvert the rules, ensuring its dominance in subtler, more insidious ways. I mean, there you go. Well said.